I got like 60 of these.
We are here. We are here. The Impact Podcast. Do you see the difference? We are not separated by computers. We are together for our 2-year anniversary, and we are so excited. I told y'all we should like record what happens before we press record. I'm telling you, we had no idea. But this is what we're going to do tonight. We wanted to celebrate. We're going to do what we do anyway, have our conversations, but we wanted to take you guys back a little bit. I know for me, and you ladies chime in as well. I think we forget sometimes the journey. We forget where we have come from. And guys, when I go back and look at these original podcast episodes, I'm like, oh my goodness, we have come a long way. But what we spoke about at the beginning, it didn't matter where we were, who we were talking to. I feel like we always brought the impact.
Oh, yeah.
Always. We would hang up. We would hang up and be like, "That was good.
Yeah.
That was good." But we wanted to share a little bit, reflect, and show you guys a couple of snippets from some previous episodes. So enjoy. Bear with us for a second. These are literally the notes. December 14, 2021. Planning the podcast.
That's a lot of notes.
Anything I'm thinking, if it's just for height.
Okay, we are getting started. As you can see, I'm sure our setup is a little different, but that's okay.
Oh,
I'll let
this
you
was
know.
so good.
Something we learned today
Yes,
was
and it
about
was so
pausing and
impromptu.
pivoting. So, taught by the amazing.
What I do?
See, you see us? Did you see us pause and pivot?
All right, it's just better. Here we go. All right. But
You guys,
it's all right.
You guys get it.
We working it out.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the Impact Podcast on this good. It is August already. I hope you guys' day and summer has been going amazing because as you can see, we're all right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It is Thursday. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Impact on this Thursday. So excited to have you.
Light chicka, dark chicka, faux chicka, real chicka, bitch chicka, pole chicka, house chicka, field chicka.
Yes. I remember this episode.
Got fire. First and foremost, I want to say that it's definitely a cultural thing. It's definitely rooted in how we've been conditioned, and sadly, for me at 45, I'm starting to understand the truth that rich is not about money at all. It really isn't.
Impact Podcast has real conversations, right? For real people, and we provide real resources. So I'll get the conversation started, and then I'll follow up from there, introduce our guest, and she will give her insight and be ready because Ms. Damaris brings the fire wherever she goes. Okay. So, this is your very first episode. Diversity and equity. It's interesting. It's interesting because when I thought about
Your screen is kind of dark, right? I don't see you. You're not clear.
I'm so confused.
The bloops and bumps.
Y'all see your face. And we hello everybody. Welcome to the Impact.
Good afternoon.
I got my brows showing.
Hello. We are officially on the Impact Podcast. So excited to be here with you evening. I'm not sure where you're tuning in from, but I know in Philadelphia, it is hot.
It's,
It's really hot.
listen, that's why you see me and Damaris in these tanks, because it's hot. Okay? I was going to put something on the arms, but I was like, it's too hot. I'm sorry.
I actually just
And
came
so
out of the,
interesting.
I came out of the
I
pool.
just put mine on.
Oh, you put a jacket on? Yeah, I didn't even do that. So it's like, you know what? They're gonna get what they get.
Exactly.
So I felt a little differently about you guys today. Obi, I'm gonna tell you too. We had a meeting earlier. I did not have this on. I had the tank, and I was like, "Hello, I'm here." And so I was like, you know what? Let me throw it on. Probably because I'm in my home office, but I don't have the air running because then you guys will hear it. But I don't know how are you guys tonight? How are you?
Well, do you hear my ear? Because my ear is on, and it's loud.
No,
Yes,
so
I can hear whistling. I can hear it a little bit.
You can hear whistling.
yeah.
I
Oh,
can.
it's not on too.
It'll get more.
Yeah, girl, don't be hot.
Yeah, don't be hot.
Put your hair on.
Not that
Or
serious.
take the jacket off, one or the other.
I love
That's
it.
the impact. Real conversation. We real
Right.
women. Got it's hot.
Real
So, the air is going on. I appreciate you guys for being here for me and allowing me to have self-care. So that I can be cool. Because in a second you were going to see all the gloss and everything because I was like, I'm not. So I've chosen to turn the air on. I'm with you guys. I'll be cool. And so we will start tonight by welcoming, of course, you know, my power sisters over here are with me. We have Damaris Alvarado Rodriguez and Dr. Obiama Martin. And we are welcoming our
Oh my God. So, yes, it was already 5 minutes. I was like, I don't want to keep the people.
Oh my
But
God, that was so
I'm
funny.
crying.
That is so funny though. Oh my God, we definitely need more bloopers because that right there was hilarious. Oh my
But I
goodness.
loved about it. I felt like we didn't even, this is the authenticity, right? I really wanted it to be so many clips from everything that we had, but it's so much. But what I noticed was that we are always authentic. We are laughing all the time, right? And so I wanted to show that we have serious conversations, but we always show up as our tagline, right? Real people,
Yes.
real resources, real conversations. And I was like, the people have to see a couple of, because everyone may not have been following us from the beginning. So that right there is who we are. I did want to share, guys, I told you we were live and I forgot my paper. Can you grab the paper? It had some real good data on there I wanted to share real fast. Because I do want to share this part before we just start talking. When we don't look at the data, right, you're always telling me document the journey. So when we were preparing this, I literally went through every episode, and jotted down every title that we had and the time that we spent. I'm trying to get the exact, but for now, I'll tell you what I remember. 43 episodes. We have had 43 episodes, 3,200 something minutes, which is like 35 hours of podcast, right?
Yes.
And I was like, look at those numbers. That's how many minutes and hours we spent sharing the impact and like giving up, our time and thoughts and connecting with people. And so I just thought that was phenomenal to document that. All the titles, we talked about finance, legacy, diversity. I said money. We talked about hair,
beauty,
yes,
skincare,
all of that.
Parenting.
Yes,
Diversity, inclusion.
all of that. And so at some point I'll share with you all the titles just so you can see, and make sure you go. Right now it's on YouTube, but 2024 is about to be
2024, you're in store for so much more.
Listen, bars. So I'm so excited because I also put on the paper, and you ladies shared too. I may have forgotten something, but I was like, since then, right? I told you guys how many episodes and everything, but we have done the Impact Summit. We have it's okay,
Which was very successful. Oh my gosh.
It was so we had.
I was taking pictures
of everyone in the room networking and talking, and I had to stop to take it in. Because sometimes we lose the moment, right? Behind a camera, behind our cell phones. I literally put my cell phone down, just took that in because there was so many people talking with each other, and it was genuine. It wasn't like forced talking. It was so good. And guys, when I'm in front of people, I'm pretty much like I hate I really am not comfortable, networking and talking to people. That day I was very comfortable. It was a great space.
You were working the room.
I was working that room. Yeah.
I remember
Yes.
that. Yes. Oh my God. So we've done that, and it's coming back. Details coming.
Yeah.
We'll be doing it twice a year.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. I think the next one is what, April?
It's April.
April
27th.
27th. April 27th. April 27th.
Yes, we have done that. We have done the Head Start conference together. We have done
Let's slow
exceptional.
Let's slow down for a minute. We did the Head Start conference. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh my gosh. So it was two. There were two.
There were two.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the one we all did together. Like we all.
That was powerful too.
They wouldn't let me go get my coffee in the corner store, guys. It was like literally.
We did?
No,
Not by herself.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't
not
travel
by
alone.
You don't travel alone, so that's how
You don't travel alone. It's like, where were you going?
I needed to go get water.
The mask kept trying to walk away.
I'm
and
used
it's
to
like, I'll be
traveling by
back,
myself,
I'll be
and I'm
back.
like,
Yeah,
I'm going
you
to the
be
corner
back?
store, and
Where
they're
you
like,
going?
no.
Yeah, we was like, we want water.
Right.
They didn't
Yeah,
want
we
water.
going with
They didn't
you.
want coffee.
I ended up finding, but I found
did.
my sparkling water
You sure did.
by the fountain.
That was fun.
Listen. Oh, hey, can you click
Laverne.
that? Hi,
Hey,
Laverne.
Laverne.
Laverne, first of all, I will definitely say Laverne is such a committed
Supporter.
supporter. Like,
Yes.
We love you,
has
Laverne.
always
Yes,
supported.
yes,
Thank you.
And
Yes,
she's
yes.
been a guest in our
Yes,
podcast.
Laverne has been a
Yeah.
guest on the
Well,
podcast. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
let's not make that the last. Let's
That's
not.
right.
We got to bring
that's
her
right.
back because she's doing so many great things. I
Oh,
actually
my
follow her on
goodness.
social media, and I'm
Yes.
like, there she goes again. Ding, there she goes
Laverne be
again.
killing it.
You
Laverne
are
be
killing it.
it. Laverne
I
be
love you.
killing it. Absolutely.
She
You know
said-
what, too, Laverne? Put on there, and we'll share that. You have an event coming up.
Yes,
that we
that's
wanna make sure
right.
that
That's
people know.
right. That's right. Put your date of your event because I gotta get my ticket.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotta get her
That's my
ticket.
daughter's birthday.
When
That's my
is it?
daughter's birthday. It's whose birthday?
She's gonna
coming
put it up.
January
She'll put it.
27th.
Is
Yes.
it January 27th?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
So put that in there. I will support. I'll get the ticket. I'll
Yeah.
sponsor someone a ticket
Yeah,
if you'd
yeah,
like to
yeah.
go.
Because that's who we are.
That's
we like
right.
to support
That's right.
people.
Exactly. Exactly. So
There-
I need to. Yeah, definitely put the link because I need to. Matter of fact, just text me. You got my number, so I can get the link when we done. So I can get my ticket when we done.
Listen, I really wanted to, who was it that was on here? And I had a clip. Do y'all remember, were you on with Dula Ivy?
Yes.
Was on?
Yes.
I had a clip from hers that I really wanted to share and wanted to talk about too. And I want you ladies, whatever episode you remember, or like your favorite or highlight. But I remember her talking about something that I learned about doulas, right? Because a lot of times here in doula, it was like, oh, you support the mother. But she really shed light on, no, she's there and she supports the family, right? And maybe the
Yes.
father and maybe the
Yes.
partner.
Yes.
She said the dog, right?
Right.
Like everybody gets support. And it was this one part where I think we all chimed in and resonated because she was like, right, sometimes you can't even go to the bathroom alone.
Yes.
And we chimed in and was like, her.
Right.
Like,
Right.
still to this day,
Mhm.
still to this day. And I love when she shared that. And so I just wanted you guys to know too, when we have guests on, we're learning. Like I walk away from so many of the episodes like, wow, it's enlightening. And that really opened my eyes to a doula to the point where now I'm not having any more kids. Let me say that on camera. So it's
Not
on
the
record.
three of us.
Oh, okay,
are
y'all
having
in it too?
any more kids.
We're not having-
Let's just make that clear. Okay.
No.
This threesome right here will not be pushing out nothing.
None.
Oh my gosh, but I
But
wish
good
I was
content.
exposed to something,
Oh,
and learning about the
absolutely. Yeah,
doulas,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Because in the Hispanic community, well, with my Hispanic community, right, and where I was brought up, we didn't have that.
No.
It's not,
Mm-mm.
something that we were exposed to.
Yep.
But if me being who I am now and knowing,
Right.
right? Oh, every child
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And that's really where I was going. I was like, I couldn't take part, and not that we're having any more children, but I want to share,
The resource,
doula
yeah.
with everyone. It's like you get a doula, you get a doula, like everyone.
Everybody gets a
Everybody.
and everybody gets a doula Ivy.
Yeah, there you go. Doula Ivy, and she's an amazing support
Yeah,
as well.
she is.
Doula Ivy is, and we'll have to have her back. I had I'm not sure if she covers this, but today I literally had an employee come to ask about nursing, breastfeeding. And she was like, I'm really trying to prepare. I want to do well at it. And I definitely did do, it's still light.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
No, that's good because we were so hot.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is good.
It was
So, guys,
hot.
our light went out, but it's still light.
But we
And
good.
so-
Light.
Yes, this is what happens on live. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. But, but I thought it was such a powerful question. I remember attempting to breastfeed with my first child. I wasn't educated, so it was like I tried it. I think I did it maybe like 2 days. I don't know, a little bit, but I didn't realize the benefits. But the other 2 children, I did it for almost 2 years. But there's so much more information about it, and she was like, I want to know what to eat, like what do I eat to produce enough milk, and so her asking the question made me think, well, maybe we can reach out to someone. I'm not sure if Doula Ivy has those resources, but if you guys do, if any of you are an expert or have information or resources around that, we would like to share that with the mothers who are expecting or have newborns and really want to breastfeed and just need resources. So that was a particular episode I remember. What about you ladies?
I got cabbage as soon as.
The leaves. I remember that. Me too.
I didn't have an opportunity to breastfeed my children. It was just not known. So my mom came with a whole bunch of cabbage leaves.
It worked
As
though.
soon as it worked, but I mean, I was like, geez, why would you do that? Not allow me the time to to nurse my child.
Because it
right?
dries it up.
Oh,
Because the
oh,
cabbage
I
is
No,
dry.
as soon as I came off the bed, up, your cabbage stuff, and I was like, oh, what are you doing? But because you're so naive, right? And that's what you see your ancestors do, and people in your families and everything. You just let them do whatever because you feel like they're taking, and they mean well. They meant well. That's what they were taught, generational. For my daughter, I broke that generation first, and I said, I want you to latch. I want you to try to latch. And my daughter she breastfed, and I'm so proud of her for doing that. And I was able to kind of be part of that journey, although I'm not the one breastfeeding, but just seeing that, it was just it was just amazing. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I thought you meant, I did use the cabbage, but that was when I was engorged and I wanted to bring it down.
It was as soon as
It
I
was
was
so
I
good.
baby out cabbage in.
I was
you.
not exposed. This is my first time hearing about cabbage. Not exposed. I breastfed all of mine until one, but that one's sitting right over here. The 6 months. Here's the next part of that, because when they bite you,
Tell me
Okay.
about it.
6 months.
Tell me about it.
okay,
Teeth at 6 months.
at 6 months, he bit me
And that
He was
that.
like, we're done here.
so hard. My nipple was raw for months, and everything was so tender. I couldn't even get in the shower. And you talk about cold turkey, cut off, don't touch me, don't breathe on me. But the impact, right, of that was like years later. Like my breast remained so super sensitive, and luckily there was so much information online, because when you get bit like that and your milk ducts are exposed, if it doesn't heal the right way, it will turn into cancer. So I really had to take care of it, because it was it was a real wound, and I was in pain for a long time. I will never ever forget that. But the other 3, I breastfed them till they was
But you
1.
forgave it.
And well, yeah, of course.
Oh, no, we're going to keep an eye out now.
Right. You're gonna have to look at this child and be like, baby.
No. I definitely forgave, but I just will never forget that experience. And of course, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like he was trying to, hurt me. He was hungry. But that bite, yeah, he had teeth. I was like, yeah, this is the last day. This is the last day. It won't be another day. Ain't no smoothing that.
It's an appropriate time. That's such a great and July idea. I hope you're watching because maybe you can respond to that. When is an appropriate time for a child to stop breastfeeding? That's like such a I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna ask this because I really don't know. I see a lot of like memes and stories and videos and people are like, okay, this kid is 7.
Right. So here's the thing. It's a cultural thing
Mhm.
because what I've learned in like third world countries,
Mhm.
their milk is the healthiest milk. Period.
Right.
Due to resources and all of those other things. Whereas in American, we have so much more, so many more resources. And so the average in America is about 2 years. It was 1 year for me because I have things to do. You cannot, I'm not walking around with you on my nipple. I'm not.
Like you're having a
One-
meeting and this 5-year-old comes, Mom, I'm hungry.
Right, exactly. And so
No, that's a nice and polite way, because mine,
Would just
that's
come
why we
right.
stopped.
Yeah.
You're just gonna pull my shirt down while I'm talking. No, and I'm not joking.
Right,
That's-
exactly. And so I didn't want that. At 1 year old, there was a cut, but here's the thing, it's the transition with it. So I made sure that they were, so I supplemented with carnation milk.
Okay.
So I didn't buy like the Similac and all those other different things because all of my friends who had their children on Similac and Enfamil,
With the carnation,
they were
yeah.
so sick all the time. So I went old school, that Carol Syrup,
Carol
that
syrup
carnation.
and carnation.
Yeah.
Ah, you guys
I was
remember
about to say,
carnation?
Yeah, girl.
I was about to say my mom was
And it
watching.
was
She
so
don't know
much.
that
It
much,
was
but that's okay.
cheaper. It was way cheaper than you buying a can of Enfamil Similac for $10, and you go get carnation milk for $1.
I couldn't afford.
Right.
I couldn't afford Similac. With my first daughter, it was just
All
so-
mine got that carnation milk and that Karen syrup, and they were healthy. Like I didn't have my kids were not sick
Not
at
either.
all.
Yeah.
My children were healthy. They're
Carnation
still
milk,
healthy.
yeah.
So yeah.
I still do carnation milk. We do.
Drink it or it goes
So
with
I
mac and
make
cheese.
I make hot chocolate.
Okay,
you know,
with the
real
carnation
with
milk.
the carnation milk,
Okay.
and I give it to the kids, and they just love it. They don't even know what it is. I'm like carnation milk. We have regular milk. It's just that's something
It's
I
nothing
love.
like that
Mhm.
carnation
Like that.
milk.
They
That
make it in
carnation milk is
carnation.
just so rich, and of course, yes, we doing it in the macaroni and cheese. You
Yeah.
can't have it without it.
Yeah.
Going in the
Amen.
mac.
If you don't
Okay.
have carnation in that mac,
I remember the first
I
time
don't
I
know
made
where you
fake
come
mac
from.
and cheese. One of my friends came over. She's Jamaican, and she said to me, "Stick to what you know." So I was
Like,
like,
this-
her.
this
I was
not
like,
for you.
this. She was like, the pork, rice and peas, pasteles, whatever it is, but leave the mac and cheese to the people that know how to make mac and cheese. So I was just
So when we get
laughing.
together, we'll bring it.
I learned how to make.
Oh,
cheese.
gotcha.
I was
Okay.
determined.
You was like,
I was so offended.
oh, were you?
She's like, not today, not today.
Because
I'm gonna
people
learn
are
how to
serious.
make it.
They're
People
serious
are
about their
serious
mac and
with
cheese. Don't-
I was so offended. Carnation milk came out. Out of my cabinet, and I was like, I'm gonna learn this. I'm determined. So it's like beef, chicken broth. I boil my. Listen, I
and
learned.
macaroni and cheese.
I
Chicken broth.
boil my macaronis in chicken broth, not water, and it brings out the flavor. And then I put in carnation.
Now, I don't know
bet
nobody
about
would
to
ask
put that in
about
the
that.
poll.
I don't know
Yeah.
nobody back that you know that going chicken broth.
Listen,
and that-
it is
okay,
chicken
all
broth.
right, all right, all right.
Try
This the
it,
next
guys.
level. I'm going to get some
Try
chicken
it and
broth.
let me know what y'all
Yeah.
think. To
Laverne,
get that chicken
You can
broth
click on it. And
and boil your macaronis in that chicken broth, and you'll see what's gonna happen. Magic.
Laverne said, I breastfed my baby boy for 6 months. My grandma called me a cow because I got pregnant, so I had to stop. I didn't make enough milk, so my oldest son got 2 weeks.
Oh,
Aw.
oh, and that is real.
It's her like it's her people, right?
It's always our
Mhm.
people.
That's
It's
the
always
soul out of
our
us, right?
people. It's always our people. So hard.
But it's something probably that was taught, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which I don't understand. I
Yeah.
really don't understand.
But in the name calling though, really, like
Yeah,
why can't we
that
just,
part I was trying not to go.
No, we got to talk
We
about
gotta
it
address
because
that, yeah.
Because here's the thing, and this, is the trauma of it all. It's systemic,
That's
right? It's generational.
Absolutely.
And if we don't talk about it, how will we break it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I was listening to something the other day about how we can allow the traditions that we don't challenge to cause us to stay stuck in a place that's unhealthy and no longer serve us, right? And so the analogy was Big Mama. And so it was a guy talking about Big Mama, and he was like, you know the story about Big Mama? And so I didn't know the story, but the story went like this: that she had a ham and she cut the ham up, and then she put it in the oven, and her husband was like, why are you doing that? And she was like, well, that's because that's what Big Mama did. So then he was like, well, ask Big Mama why she do that. And so she went to that Big Mama, and she was like, well, that's what Big Mama did. So went to third generation. Luckily, she was still alive. And she said, well, I don't know what y'all doing, but I did it because my pot wasn't big enough.
It was that simple.
Right? That simple. And so the whole thing was, we are doing things unconsciously because somebody did it and we never challenged why they did it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was so interesting you brought that up. That was another clip we'll share, but that was brought up when we did the generations conversation. Was that so for us? We didn't challenge, and so what we have is a newer generation who they do challenge it, but what they get is you're so disrespectful.
Yes, that's right. In the Poconos,
That's what they said, and
yes.
it was like, ooh, and so they were really expressing. And guys, if you have not seen that episode, it was just mind blowing. It really opens up a great conversation cross generation. But that's really what they were saying, and there was so much truth to it. And basically, they were like, we're just speaking our truth, and we're just really trying to advocate for ourselves. But and it's interesting because we tell, I know I tell my children, and I would think that we all tell our children to advocate for themselves, but we only want them to do it when it's convenient for us. So we only want them to do it in particular settings, or not with us, right? And so it's a respectful way to do it. But at the same time, I do want you to be able to like speak up. But that's what it made me think of, is that we were like, it was, you kind of don't challenge, or you don't say anything, or you can't even be in the room while adults.
But you know what? Here's the tradition. Here's the tradition. So Dion told us about the Maxwell Ebenezer house. So I took Zion 2 weeks ago.
How was it?
Well, we couldn't enjoy the whole tour because he was sick. He wasn't feeling really good. But what I can tell, so definitely go. Original everything in it, right? And so you go into the kitchen, and it's the original things that they cook with. It was the coal stove. It was the all of the things. They had bells across the thing that they used to call their servants, and each bell, meant something different, whatever. And so as she was giving us a tour in the dining room, she was saying how the children didn't eat with the parents during dinner time. Right. And so while we may have thought that was a slave thing, hearing her talk about, the Maxwells, who were not slaves, they were rich in that time. But during that time, even children were not to be heard. They could be seen, but not to be heard. But they were not allowed to have dinner with their, right? And so the table was set. You guys got to see it. The table was set. Right, you remember back in the day, so the table was set, and so this was for entertaining and for the guests. But the children ate out in a separate area, and they ate with the servants. Now, the other thing that was really interesting was that they had an outhouse. So the Mexican, they still had that original outhouse in the back, and they was just talking about how because the sewage system, wasn't in, and so they originally had a bathroom inside the house, but they took it out because of the smell.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow. So just in terms of a piece of history and understanding tradition and, culture and all that kind of stuff. And so to just have a little bit of that experience was just like, wow, so many things. And Philadelphia is so rich. Like just the things that were shared about the things that was made and invented in Philadelphia. The tour is amazing.
I'm definitely gonna go.
You definitely, after
But
that was shared, I went.
I want to tell you that that's the way I was brought up. So when I lived in Puerto Rico, we had a house, and we were not allowed to eat with adults. So we were always like, you are to be seen, not heard, right? But I was the rebel. So I was always the rebel guy. So it was like since little, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna hear me, you know. And I was the person that broke the glass ceilings in my home. I was the first person to kind of go to college, you know, finish even a high school diploma at that point, go to college, have a business and just go. But it was difficult watching my cousins, you know, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning where, you know, they had to walk 5 miles to whatever closest store or truck because they sold food off a truck, like eggs and, you know, things like that. And bring it back and cook breakfast and make the beds for all the men and do the laundry. And I would look at them like, y'all the slaves here. Like, I want to go back home. And of course, you know, I was a daddy's girl, so I called dad and was like, you need to go. Like, these people are too much, like, you know, but it was, now that I'm older, it's funny because I really go back to my roots and go back to what I was brought up with. And I'm so happy I was exposed to that. I was so happy. So we made a faux pig for Christmas. And my kids, they were like, what is that? We're not eating, blah, blah, blah. I said, did you guys know that pork chops are from this? Do you know that this is from this, right? And, you know, we eat pork. You know, it is what it is. And, you know, it was so great to do that and to bring that to my house because that's my culture. I eat pork. But for my kids to experience and to really have these conversations, not so much that they didn't eat the pork breast, they didn't eat it, but they did sit around and we had some really great conversations about that and things that I did as a child that they didn't know. Right? So.
And it's interesting you bring up dinner. I know my husband and I said that we were not just with our little ones who still live at home, but we're also talking to the older girls. And so we're making sure that we're going to have the opportunity to get back to having dinner together. That's where the conversations, right? You get to really connect with your children, you know, eat at the table. Because
cell phones off.
My little ones still don't get it. They're like, can you pass me the, no, right? There's no cell phones. But, you know, I find that breaking bread together and going around the table and having those conversations, like there's so many conversations that we miss out on because we don't take out the time to like do that, right? And I missed that. That was something really before my girls got old enough and moved out. That was the promise. It was like Sunday dinner, you know, and that's where we really still get to lay eyes. You could tell your children, you like, what's wrong? Something, what's going on? And you know, to be at the table with one another is, you know, it's
I used to do that a long time ago, and then I held myself accountable doing it again because sometimes life happens.
Oh, absolutely.
And you lose focus, right? And you know, me, I was like, I'm not doing Sunday dinners anymore because Sunday dinners turned out to be arguments, right, and things like that. And now I'm glad that we're like slowly going back because, you know, for my little child, she deserves, you know, the opportunity to have the thing. But I did want to tell you something. Wi-Fi, oh my gosh, what's that? Wi-Fi, you cut them off. There's a machine that does that. You can cut off all the cell phones. Yeah. Amazon, baby.
They're like, we got you.
I'm vindictive like that. Like, right? My kids say something, I'm like, I have to, and I do it with a smile on my face. Next day, they're like, what happened to the Wi-Fi? That, meanwhile, it's an owl that they thought it was like, but it's really a hidden Wi-Fi cutter. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
I love it too. It's like, we're not arguing.
Oh, no.
We're not doing that.
No, we're not arguing. We're not doing it.
Which is also something that, you know, in our days, you didn't dare talk back. You know, like that was not even a thing. And so our children don't even understand. It's so different. And for me, because my children are so spread apart, it's literally like I see how each child has had a different mother. A completely different mother, from my 29-year-old daughter to Joshua, who's 23, to Paul, who's 19, and Zion, who's 11, I could see how different I was at each stage, and it's like my daughter is like, they don't know you. They did
Guys,
not
we all
know.
have kids
Yeah,
the same age
That was who you were,
range
though.
too. Just wanted to make
Right,
sure everybody
but
knows
here's-
that, which is weird.
But you know what? Here's the thing. By the time when you get to the last one, whether it's the third or the fourth, for
You don't
me,
care.
it's the fifth. I don't care about nothing. Okay, I'm on peace.
Wear what you
You
want to
all right?
wear.
I'd be like, you're-
You
Or
bump
if
in
I
there,
ask-
you're gonna be all right.
I don't hear no crying. She
Right?
But-
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. The youngest ones are. Yesterday I was having dinner with my 23-year-old and my young one. And my young one looked at my daughter and said, my daughter said something which she raised her voice, and I smiled, and because I'm trying to reserve my peace,
Right,
and I'm
right.
also trying to respond appropriately.
Yeah.
Before I would have responded with, "Let me punch you in your face."
Right.
Right? And call the HS after.
Yeah.
Do that. Today, because I'm much more mature, right? I'm more like, whatever. You know what I mean? But my little one, oh my gosh, I was so proud. She said, there is a way that you should be speaking. And if your ask is this, then you ask it a certain way you shouldn't be. Why are you talking to her that way? My 12-year-old got set her straight and was able to bring her down where my oldest one was like, that's why you're the favorite. And she's like, and that's why I will remain the famous. I mean, the favorite. I'm sorry. And she's
Don't tell me.
today.
Yeah.
Don't tell nobody.
I'm telling you.
I love all my
This is
kids,
recorded.
but this I could care less. Listen, at this point, she came to I just love that moment.
Right.
That moment, and I feel like our youngest children, not that they're smarter.
No,
love all
they're
my
smarter.
kids.
No.
They suck
They're-
up
no.
everything.
They're smarter. They're smarter.
And they're like, we're not going to make that mistake.
Zion came out smart, period. He just came out smart, and he's smarter than everybody. He know it, and they know it. Like, it's interesting when it's just, some things is just evident. Like, that everybody just know, like,
I knew
Zion
that
is
the
gonna
first
be
day I
the
met him.
one that, right? He's just built like that.
But
right?
you know what's funny? I wonder, right? Because we all said how the youngest one, it's like, I ain't got nothing for you. They probably had to be smart.
Right.
Because I don't have nothing for you. Homework help.
Survival.
What is
It was
the
survival for them.
They had to come out smart. They had no other choice.
Wait a minute. Because this math that they doing, not even the math, the English, y'all.
All of it.
The English,
I can't help.
the English, I cannot, and I'm pretty good at English. Not so much math, but English is my jam. And I'm trying to help him, and you still getting stuff wrong, then I got to go back, because
It's
it
not
doesn't
like-
make no sense to me.
Yeah,
Like,
before it used to be
grammar
4
and
plus 4,
punctuation and-
right?
Listen,
4 divided by 4.
draw
Now
a
it's
couple lines,
4
count
Right,
that,
exactly.
cross it,
divided by
put a 5.
17, and you're still gonna get the same. I'm like, look, girl, you're Alexa.
Listen, I was about to say
Alexa.
YouTube. I was like, go look that
YouTube,
up
Alexa.
on YouTube.
There's
I
this
can't-
app, this math app, girl. I was like,
IXL?
save me through college.
Best friend.
Yeah.
I be like, did you study IXL tonight? Listen, they got the Chromebook. Now they have Chromebooks. They bring them home. If they have it with the charger, they have all the stuff. And I
They
just,
have all
all I
the
gotta
stuff.
do is provide the table for them to sit at.
I be like,
And the
Zion,
snacks to eat.
this how you do this. Ask Google this way.
And it's so amazing. Like, you see them through a different. It's not because really I joke around. I love all my children, but you see them differently. It's because I'm older and I'm able to enjoy it more.
Yes.
Right? To
Yes.
stand back and say, I'm 50 years old. I have a 12-year-old. I made so many mistakes with my older children. There's so many, and I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
Child development, right? Proper way to, affirmations every morning. My
We
youngest,
didn't know.
yeah, we didn't know all
We
those
didn't
things.
know. We didn't know.
And now I'm like, hey, even with my oldest kids, how are you? And I'll do things like, you're just so beautiful and just so important. I'm just so proud of you. And they look at me like, you okay?
I know you can't even be nice and stuff. I told them I've been practicing hugging. I've been practicing hugging. She's gonna turn her eye.
I
Because
can't.
I think we talked about that. I'm working on it.
You
Because
are.
we
Am
can
I
do,
working?
I can do
don't
hard
know that-
things.
No, yeah, Isaiah's here. He said,
But
no.
Isis turned her eye too. I'm not
a
working on
hugger,
hugging.
though. I'm not.
Oh, you're not a hugger. And that's the funny part. Some of my kids,
So
they're
my
not
kids are
into it
touchy
either.
feely, but I'm not touchy feely
My
like
kids
that.
are.
I'm not. And Zion is like, I think you need a hug. Don't touch me. Why are you touching me?
Is it the reflex?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so
kids
sorry.
are
I'm
doing
sorry.
that. My kids are doing that now to me, and because I did that to them. So now it's like, okay, like even at New Year's, guys. You know, New Year's, everybody toasts
Like,
and
oh,
kisses.
you know,
It was the phoniest kisses. Like, and I happy New Year. And I was like, all right, we're gonna do this.
and I'm like, come on in. And they're like,
So why is that? Why is
It's
that?
because we are we just talk about generational curses, right? And we're doing that. And you're at least you're working on it, right? And you're making that aware. And hopefully your children will be able to start hugging their own children.
oh no, they're
That's
hugging.
horrible.
I
Right.
think that
My
she's not-
children
my
are
kids are
huggers.
affectionate.
My
boys
kids,
are
my
huggers.
oldest daughter is very affectionate with her. Yeah, no, I messed all my kids up. Sorry, guys.
You know, well, I'll tell you this. What I think is interesting. My father was very affectionate, right? So now we have the whole love language thing, so we understand it a little differently. That's not my love language, but my father was very affectionate. He was the I love you, the hugs and stuff. My mom, I'm talking not at all.
Right.
I'm not at all. And so it's funny because, and I've shared this, I've talked to my husband about it and everything. I definitely paid attention to the dynamics of what my father brought to the home, my mother brought, and what I wanted for my children and family. So it was a number of things I took away. I was definitely a Cosby Family girl. I was like, that's it. That's what I'm going to have. But I never looked at that side of it. I never looked at, considered the affectionate, this, that. So what's interesting is my husband is very similar to my father. So he's the affectionate one. And so my kids, they just like I receive both sides, they do as well. And so gifts, I'm service, and my love language is right, the gifts of service and what is it, gifts and stuff like that. And so not that buying them or anything, but it's like, oh my goodness, I thought about you, or I bought you, or I want to gift you something, or service. Like, I got you. Don't worry about it. Like, I got you. It may not be a hug, but I got you.
Right. Right.
My household was a
But they also hug and
What's
I
it
got you.
called? The Good Times?
The good time.
Oh no! I love the good. That was my shout out. That was my shout out.
That was my whole entire house. But we grew, right? Even my husband, I had to teach my husband came from a very machismo, and I love him to death. But I was just like, you got the wrong one, buddy. Like, you got the wrong one. And in so many years, we had to learn how to work together and coexist and parent, right? Because his definition of parent is different than mine. Like, I wanted to give space. He wants to, bring them up like, women should just not talk, right? Because that's the way he was, kind of raised and saying certain things that was inappropriate. And now to this day, it's just like, I love his growth. I have to say that, because his growth is so open-minded. Like, the other day, my kid was going off, and he just looked at me, and I was so happy that he didn't get up and was like, and engaged. He learned, like, he was laying on the floor, and he just looked at me and looked up and said, I'm like, we're not. And it was just, we didn't speak to each other. We just knew by eye.
Yes.
And then when she walked away, he just looked at me and smirked. I was like, yes.
We got this.
We got this.
Yes.
We're talking the same language now, so
Yeah.
I just love to
What
see
a
that
beautiful
growth.
moment.
Yeah, it really was. Although she was having a hard time.
Right.
Excuse my
That's
French,
a
but
big.
yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't say I can't pinpoint my childhood to any sitcom or anything. Yeah. So no Sunday dinners, no. Yeah. That. Like, I can't even put a nothing on anything. But I survived.
Oh, and you did, and you're helping
I
others
said,
survive.
yeah.
And so, did that, right?
Yeah.
You sharing that? Did you have an idea as to what you wanted for your children and your direct family in regards to you and your children and husband?
No, because I didn't see myself. So interesting. So I think for me, I never saw myself as a family person. As a child, as a teenager, I never saw myself as a family person because of the dysfunction that was ever so present and the dynamics of my family and not necessarily being with either parent necessarily, and just having the exposure to so many different people, living with different people, and really being on my own to figure things out and kind of navigate. So when I get pregnant at 16, I'm devastated. I'm devastated because you couldn't tell me I was not on my way to Hampton University. I was going to get me an MBA. I was going to be America's Next Top Model. Like, that's what I saw for myself. Family, no. I did not see family, didn't see marriage, didn't see any of that. However, things began to quickly change for me because at 18, I was going to go to the Air Force, took the test, was going to go to the Air Force, because I'm like, well, I can't go to college. But then they were like, well, you got to give your mom custody of your daughter for 6 months so you can go to boot camp. And so I was like, no, not doing that. And so it was like, you got to be a mom. So it was like, okay. So for me, being a mom was I graduated high school, I move out, I start renting a room, and it's just me and her, and I'm figuring out. So I'm working full time during the day. I'm going to school at night at community. Like so I don't know anything outside of I got to provide for me and my daughter because her father was a sperm donor. So at 21 now, and I get married, and so he wanted 5 children because that's where he comes from. And so I very much was like, well, I'm going to yield to that. I'm going to submit to that. So I really was uh, just, my thing was more so Proverbs 31 woman at the point that I got married. I just really wanted to emulate that. And so whatever he wanted, that's what I submitted to. Period. Whatever that was, that's what I submitted to. So it's like, oh, you want all these kids? Oh, okay, cool. That's what we're doing. But in terms of the framework, because his experience was very dysfunctional as well. So we didn't even have, and then our situation is so interesting. Again, we talk about generation and we talk about legacy, and the very thing that I thought that I was protecting my children from, I recently had a conversation with around Christmas. I recently had a conversation with my 23-year old, asking him like, what was your favorite memory around Christmas? And what he shared with me made me cry because it was what I experienced, what made me not really be a holiday person because of things that happened. And I was like, oh my God, how is it that the very thing I thought that I was protecting you from happened to you as well? And not that I wasn't present, but it was what I suppressed. Yeah. Right. So remember, you and I have had a conversation about you don't remember things because you suppress it. So it was one of those things where I couldn't remember because I suppressed it, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm having this real open conversation, like, what's your favorite memory? And he was like, I don't have one because of. And I was like, oh my God, that is the exact thing that happened to me as a child, right? So it's like, yeah. But what was interesting is I asked my daughter, she has some favorite memories. As Paul, he has some favorite memories. Zion is still young, so he has, a couple of things, but Joshua, his memories were like mine. And I just was like, okay. So the lesson is, as a parent, you can do all that you think that you're doing, but even still something is going to slip through the cracks. Even still, so even when you think you're doing the best, your best still don't appear to be
Good enough.
good enough,
Yeah.
right? So then you just yield to, if I had the capacity to make a different decision, if I had the capacity to be better, to do better, I would have. So then you move from that seat of shame, right? And you move to a seat of grace that says, I forgive you.
And you said something so powerful that we have, I talked to my older girls about, and I know that I've come to the realization too, which is how I don't become so frustrated with people, whoever that may be, is because it is a capacity conversation. Everything isn't about you, right? Sometimes that person just does not have the capacity to give you that or to do that for you. And so, and that's not on me to carry, like you said. And it's like shame, guilt, it's like, you know what? I realize what that is. You don't have the capacity. And so especially when we look at our parents, right? It's things that I look back and I'm just like, wow, they did all they could. They just didn't have the capacity to do this thing. And so now that I have been able to uncover some things and learn, not even fully yet though, right? We have these conversations and we're becoming enlightened by the day, by the conversation. It'd be like, ooh, right? And that's what I mean by us walking away from these episodes with enlightenment and uncovering, because also sometimes we may feel something, but I didn't have the words to identify with that.
What I was feeling, absolutely.
And so listen, this is a whole other episode. Y'all not getting 2 or 3 episodes in one. No. You gotta join the next.
But this is I think this is a great preview to what our year is going to be, which is all deliciousness, right? It's all deliciousness. So this year, we are really going to be spending time talking about the multiple roles that we have as women, as moms, as spouses, as daughters, as aunties, as all these different things. And how do we balance it all? And what does, and then what does equality really look like, right? And in this feminine movement of, I don't need a man, right? And so that's a bunch of bull, because
I need my man.
Well, but so we've never said that,
right? We've never said that, right?
Because he's watching.
But
just kidding.
But here's the thing: it takes 2 people.
It does,
right? And it takes a village.
It does,
right? So it's not about how much money you make and your position at work. It's really about you understanding that that's just a role for that set time of the day.
Yes.
For the set time of the day.
It is just a role for that set time of the day, because when you come home, there is another role that you walk into. And if you don't know how to switch hats, you get confused, and so do the other people that are in your community.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great place to drop the mic.
Here we go. So what we are going to do, we are going to get ready. Because y'all remember it's our birthday, right?
So we invite you guys to celebrate our birthday.
Yes. So
I came as a guest and never left.
Yes.
And it's funny to go back and see the episodes where you weren't there, but we were just waiting for you.
Yes. And it didn't take that long.
No,
as soon as you came into our world, I was like,
this is it. Yes. And I have to go back and look at and remember exactly what we got to build on the fire, the board of the war.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get it right. We're going to get it right, and we're going to revisit
I was war.
I can't remember.
Fire, and I definitely was war. I know.
Right, you was war. Yeah, you was war. I don't know.
I
know you was war. I know you was water and peace. I know.
I believe that's
yes, you were water and peace.
So maybe I was fire.
Yes, I believe so. Because it wasn't in a negative connotation. It was kind of refined.
Yeah. Because fire does a lot of different things.
So we popping this first?
We're gonna pop this first and celebrate, and then I don't know. Y'all, we haven't tested them. We're going to see how it works.
But
this is what we're going to do is celebrate our 2-year anniversary while we are together.
2 more years.
Yeah, right.
2 more years.
I think this is how it goes.
1, 2.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. This is
Because it's live. Wait.
okay. This is not all right. That was cool.
My word.
So
Okay,
I'm just gonna say ditto. All right, this is not happening, guys. So I'm just.
Hey, there we go. Hey, and you get confetti.
All right.
Oh, I love this. I love this so
I
funny.
don't want to.
You don't? Okay.
That way.
We are celebrating and we're going to get ready to toast to such an amazing year, 2024. And not just us three. We're definitely going to, be here together, but with you as well.
Yes.
We definitely we're going to be changing some things up. You guys saw how far we've come since the beginning when I didn't even know how to properly have a background or get the words on the bottom. I need y'all to really celebrate how far we've come. Like, you see the visual? It's not perfect, but we've come a long way, okay?
A
And
long way. Do not despise the day of small beginnings.
There you go.
But this is what happens when you show up. You keep going, you learn, you do better, you get better. Then you get together with the team because we are stronger together.
And together we're stronger.
And that's that. And so we're going to pop this here. Oh, and it better be right. Hey! If you have something too, y'all get something. I should have told y'all from the beginning.
Get your whatever you're drinking. Tea, water.
Yes.
I like
Everything that you're
sparkling
having.
cider,
Yes.
ginger ale.
Cheers to another 2 years, another year,
Yeah.
2024. Many blessings to everyone.
This is somebody from Brazil.
From Brazil? Oh, hi.
Hello,
Wow.
Brazil. Welcome.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for joining us. We celebrate you being here as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you, ladies. As we wrap it up, I just want to thank you, ladies, as well, because again, you saw the note from 2021. Again, if I could package up the emotions before every episode and share with you guys, you wouldn't believe it. But I would be looking at that countdown, it'd be like 5, 4, and I was like, oh my God, where's Obiama? She didn't log on yet. Like, I'm be by myself. And so now, I just hope you guys can see the evolution again, right? And it's like, but y'all have been holding a sister down, and I'll be ready to show up, excited, like what's going to happen. And listen, thank y'all. Thank y'all for being to my right, to my left, like Until next time, everyone. This is the Impact Podcast. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.